It is the 27th day of January. Good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adesanwe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
And I'm Grace Hamuajiman. Top of the bulletin tonight.
News 360 headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
Media Foundation for West Africa demands legal action and investigation into the military assault on Media General's Northeast Regional Correspondent Solomon Kanalue.
Ghana Immigration Service begins nationwide recruitment exercise screening candidates across multiple centers.
And later in the bulletin, the World Health Organization Africa Regional Director urges stronger collaboration between Ghana and other African countries to ensure quality healthcare delivery.
In business tonight, Ministry of Finance once again sabotage as new artificial intelligence custom system goes live in February at Ghana's ports aimed at stopping revenue loss.
On the international front, Rwandan government launches legal action against the UK to seek payment owed under a scrapped migrant deal between the two countries. We have details of all these stories and more, including business, sports, and entertainment at the tail end of the program.
Let's begin the bulletin from here. Media Foundation for West Africa has condemned the assault on Media General's Northeast Regional Correspondent Solomon Kwame Kanalue during coverage of a military exercise in the Northeast region. The foundation says attacks on journalists undermine press freedom and accountability.
Solomon Kanalue, Media General's correspondent in the Northeast region, says the incident occurred on Monday afternoon after he had returned from a community interview. He explains that he had parked his motorbike near a shop when he was confronted by men he later identified as military personnel.
On my return, his call came asking me to come to the station. So all I know was I was going to pick up the goods. So when I got there, he told me that military men came around and they were just beating people. There were some 207 cars. They used knives and then they destroyed the tires. I said, oh, did they tell them why they were doing that? And they said no. So I said, okay, then let me find out. So I rode and parked by the roadside. The moment I parked, about 3 steps away from my motor to the shop, then they arrived there and asked, whose motorbike is this? Though the other motorbike parked, I said, oh, before I could open my mouth to say, it is mine, then they strike it on my back.
Solomon says he was later intercepted again, taken to a location outside the town and questioned. He confirms that his phone was seized and searched before it was returned to him hours later. He adds that checks with the district police commander, the regional minister and the member of parliament indicated they were not aware of any military operation in the area at the time.
He operated my phone for several hours. He went through my private chats and almost everything I have on the phone.
The Media Foundation for West Africa has condemned the assault and called for investigations. Dora Mauto is the Director for Freedom of Expression and Digital Rights at the Media Foundation for West Africa.
There's need to increasingly seek legal redress for some of these unfortunate incidents, because if it's just public condemnation and then it ends there, we've seen that in the past, we haven't really had much result. Let's also go through the legal means, do litigation, and ensure that we get justice for abused journalists. Media General should not let this case be one of those others that have gone unredressed. To the military command, I would say this is an opportunity for them to let Ghanaians know that they don't approve unprofessionalism.
The Member of Parliament for Wale Wale, Dr. Abdul Kabiru Tia Mahama, has in a statement called on the acting Minister for Defence to urgently investigate the incident and ensure the perpetrators are brought to justice. Between 2019 and 2023, the Ghana Journalists Association (GJA) documented a total of 45 cases of assaults and attacks against journalists and media institutions. According to Ghana Journalists Association (GJA), 13 attacks on journalists were recorded across the country between January and October 2025. Stakeholders say strengthening communication and engagement between journalists and security agencies will be key to preventing similar incidents in the future.
Very condemnable, archaic and backward acting by the soldiers who undertook this. We would see how the coming days play out and what exactly actions will be taken regarding this unfortunate development. Away from that, former Speaker of Parliament and founding member of the New Patriotic Party, Professor Michael Quay, has criticized the current lithium agreement under the leadership of the Lands and Natural Resources Minister Emmanuel Ama Kofi-Boah. He says that the deal, which seems to put a seal on how much Ghana can get from our resources, is bad for the country. He spoke in an interview with Beatrice Edu.
First of all, it was 10%. But now, have you seen the starting point? It's going to be 9%. Already there, it's lower. But even when the MPP government was talking 10%, I was saying no. Because we want to own the thing. You are talking to me about royalty. The owner, it's a colonial arrangement, which long is gone. When the white man actually owned everything. He owned everything because we were colonized. And then they gave us royalties, and we want royalty again. You have mentioned this. Now we start from 9%, and then we graduate it to 13%. Who puts a ceiling upon what you can pay him for what belongs to him? And that is what I'm against. We are Ghanaians, government of Ghana. We own the lithium. We are giving it to you. Then we say that when it goes up to a certain price, don't pay me more than 13%. It is your benefit. So why do you say we must have a ceiling? So and I want to use your channel to let Honorable Ama Kofi-Boah know that he had no reason to tell us that he was very happy about what has been done. Because you cannot be happy with such an arrangement.
Well, let's bring you an update on that transportation campaign we have been championing in the weeks. And the update is that a tour of sub-transport corridors has shown there are still queues and insufficient buses to transport people weeks after the Vice President initiated action to get the challenge resolved. Drivers have blamed heavy traffic congestions and the increasing use of private vehicles for the prolonged crisis.
As of 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday, January 27th, when I arrived at the Madina Zongo Junction in Accra, there were scores of people still waiting for the next available vehicle with little chance of finding space, as most arriving vehicles were already almost fully loaded. By almost 10 o'clock a.m., corporate and informal sector workers were braving the scorching sun, already late for work. A stranded worker says the consequences of arriving late could be far-reaching.
I'm going to work, and even if I'm able to get a car now, I'm still going to join traffic again.
How productive are you when you get to work?
Well, you can't do nothing, The time is already gone. And second, you have to do extra work. And sometimes, if you are not lucky, you'll be sacked. Because no one is waiting for you to come and, you are working as someone. You need to be on time.
At the main station, there were enough vehicles, although people still ended up in queues several times.
And even
At the main station, there were enough vehicles, although people still
The money drivers pay each time they pick passengers at the station forces many to operate outside.
Cars be bro hunter then a due time be a cars need to be shorting.
Hey, cars but I'm up on to point.
We experience shortage of cars, mostly due to traffic congestion.
cars na ekono on be di traffic mo ebi so be fi ni ho be du ano na ka na ema
adenti na omo am be gina kwan ho no omo nko station because station cars be be
The stations do not have cars moving to all destinations. Some get theirs by the roadside.
When you talk to the drivers, some are saying that the traffic congestion is to blame for the long queues we see at the terminals, also because the cars do not get to move rapidly as they should, and so you'd always get to see people standing here like this. And another thing is that people who would have otherwise parked their private cars to come to join Trotros are now driving. Also because the fuel prices have dropped.
We want to see better. We want to see a Ghana resetting through Metromas.
2 weeks ago, the Vice President engaged the transport and local government ministers and also toured the Metromas and Ayalolo yard to find solutions to the situation. But no significant outcomes have been seen yet, despite a campaign to invest in the railway sector.
I'm not a driver of this vehicle and I don't intend to move it to the destination. This vehicle is moving all the way to Agboba and Ashoma and adjoining areas. But you realize that at the La Paz station, there are a lot of vehicles here, and the usual queues that you would come to meet early mornings at the rush hour are not here as of now. But still, the conversation for many of these drivers has been about how much they pay into servicing these vehicles. Christian Yale, TV3 News, La Paz.
In more news this evening, he could enjoy the perks of diplomacy, but Baba Jamal says he is ready to answer the call to represent Ayawaso East in Parliament, a role he admits comes with far fewer material benefits than his current position as High Commissioner. My colleague Noble Crosby Annan sat down with him after he filed his nomination and has come through with his report.
Intensifying in the Ayawaso East constituency ahead of the upcoming by-election on March 3. One familiar face in the race is Baba Jamal, who narrowly lost to the 8 MP Ahmed Nasser Toure in the party's 2023 primaries. Currently Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria, Baba Jamal says he is ready to give up the perks of his diplomatic post to serve as a member of parliament, driven by a strong sense of duty and commitment to his constituency.
All those who are asking me, why are you leaving Nigeria to come to East Ayawaso? Anybody who is talking like that is because his mind is on material things. Are we motivated by only material things? If I look at my conditions in Nigeria, what I get in Nigeria as a High Commissioner representing the president there, it is 3 times what I will receive as MP. But I have chosen to come and serve my people.
Baba Jamal is confident of victory, citing years of service and engagement in the constituency. He adds that if he is not successful in securing the seat, he is willing to return to his role as High Commissioner while continuing to support the constituency in every way he can.
I'm not the first person to contest as a High Commission. You don't need to resign. All what you need to do is to ask for leave. Oh, of course, why not? As long as I have been appointed there as the High Commission, I will resume. Do you understand? But whatever happens, I will serve my community in my smaller. I think that if they give me the opportunity, it will give me a bigger platform to be able to serve them better.
He maintains that he stands tall among the candidates, including his closest rival, Hajia Amina Adam, the widow of the late MP.
Hajia, I hesitate to talk about her because anytime her matter comes up, it will force me to resurrect the dead. And as a Muslim, I don't really want to go. Tell me one project that the husband has done that is a legacy she's coming to continue. One, only one.
Stay with us, your Election Command Center. We have details of all of these elections coming up. 2 other stories. The Ghana Immigration Service has officially begun its nationwide recruitment exercise, with candidates being screened across multiple centers. The exercise involves document verification, height measurement, and physical fitness checks conducted in batches to ensure smooth processing. Deborah Abba Mensah was at a center in Accra and reports.
In Accra, applicants are being processed in batches across 10 centers, with both morning and afternoon sessions as the Ghana Immigration Service works to ensure the exercise runs smoothly. Some candidates have reportedly attempted to falsify their ages, presenting conflicting birth dates on their Ghana card and other documents. The exercise also seeks to recruit professionals such as mechanics and artisans who may receive some flexibility with age, while regular career recruits must meet strict fitness requirements. Samuel Basintale Amadou is the Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service.
Most of them, I believe, are trying to change their dates of birth for obvious reasons. So they are coming with the date on their Ghana card is different from the new birth certificates they have gone for. So they are trying, some of them have affidavit to back it or whatever. But you see, let me give them a general advice. If you are 40 and you lie that you are 30, when you get to the field, you are likely to even die because you are subjected to a certain level of fitness. And once the age is not on your side, you will not make it. So you fall off and then off you go. So
those who pass the initial screening will move on to a new computer-based examination system introduced for the first time. This system delivers instant results and is designed to prevent cheating.
This is the first time we are going that way. The E-man phase is out. The exams is set and it's programmed. So when you take your eye off the screen for 10 seconds, it will shut you off. So if you think that you are doing it at the comfort of your home, you can cheat. Forget it. Yeah.
The recruitment drive is part of the Ghana Immigration Services expansion, aiming to bring in young, fit and capable men and women to serve in both technical and frontline roles across Ghana's borders. Deborah Bamensa, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapor, says additional power would be required or procured this year in order to address projected 2026, 2027 and 2028 supply deficit and much rising electricity consumption. According to the minister, consumption of electricity has increased due to the improvement of the Ghanaian economy. He was speaking when the Vice President, Professor Jane Opoku-Agyeman, paid a courtesy call on him on a working visit.
The meeting discussed challenges and progress in the energy sector. Hydropower, according to the Energy and Green Transition Minister John Jinapor, has declined to 28%, necessitating proactive measures to avoid a 290 to 420 megawatt deficit by 2026 and beyond.
2026, if nothing is done, we're going to have a deficit of 294. 2027, 658. 2028, 1,470. Because of the way the economy is picking up, there's a lot of increased consumption when it comes to electricity. And so we must match that pace. And to do so, we must be very innovative. So we are coming up with either competitive tendering or we use VRA as a front so that we can have cheaper power for the people of Ghana.
He said his outfit would construct a second gas processing plant using indigenous gas, noting a $2 billion agreement between Jubilee partners and government will reduce gas prices and increase production.
By the end of the month, myself and the finance minister, we should be signing a cabinet memo so we can commence the construction of a second gas processing plant. We've also signed a $2 billion agreement with the Jubilee partners. Cabinet has approved it. We've already taken it to Parliament. It will reduce our gas price from $3.1 to $2.5. It will increase gas consumption by another 70 MMscf, and it will also increase crude oil production. And so for me, this is a game changer.
Vice President Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman said she is proud of the minister and his team for saving Ghanaians from experiencing power cuts.
The interventions have really created the enabling results we're looking for. We had huge debts. We were threatened with power cuts even before we took over. And it wasn't an amusing situation at all. And this is a time for us to commend our president for listening, for supporting, for being very, very positive, and for going along with the suggestions.
The Vice President also visited the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Here, the Sector Minister Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa said a number of reforms have been taken and are still being taken to ensure green forests and blue water bodies.
I have never shied away with the institutions that are responsible. I told the EPA, I told the Minerals Commission, they are part of the problem. And so we began to basically look at even the licenses, how licenses are issued. I'm happy that we've been able to look at the review of our licenses. As we speak, small-scale licenses over 255 or so has been revoked. We continue to review the processes, and those who have not followed the right channels, we give them the opportunity to correct the processes.
The Vice President said it was difficult to imagine the level of devastation caused to the environment.
We have no doubt that you are up to the task. So our job is to encourage you, to congratulate you for what you've done so far, and to encourage you even to do more, and to let you know that we trust what you are doing, to assure you that we have your back. We are there to support you every step of the way. It is not only a moral imperative. We're talking about our survival.
The Vice President's visit to the two ministries forms part of an ongoing tour of government ministries to obtain first-hand information and encourage them to do more.
And Minister for Roads and Highways Kwame Gavins Agboja has disclosed that government has awarded 50 billion cedis worth of road contracts since assuming office a year ago. The minister said these contracts cut across the country and form part of the big push agenda by government. Speaking to TV3, the minister dismissed assertions that the NDC government is not spending.
The finance minister got the details, budgeted for it. We went to Parliament, sought multi-year commitment, declared that we're going to use our oil and mineral revenue and allocated it in the budget, and said that by the year 2020, end of 2027, these first phase of Big Push project should be completed. In addition to the Dambai Bridge, which is a major crossing, and Echiamamfo Bridge. This morning, when I get back to the ministry, I'll be signing the contract for the contractor to commence work on the Echiamamfo Bridge. It's about 3 kilometers. It will be the biggest and the longest bridge in our country. So far, we have awarded about 50 billion cedis worth of work. In effect, the principle behind the first phase of the Big Push is to interconnect the regions to the national capital using the trunk road. We are doing a lot more than the trunk roads currently, but this is the principle by which we arrived at the first phase of President Mahama's intervention on roads.
Let's go to the courts now. The Supreme Court has dismissed an application seeking to join the Office of the Special Prosecutor as a party to a constitutional action challenging aspects of the office's powers under the law. Private legal practitioner Noah Adamte had filed a suit challenging the constitutionality of the Parliament's decision to establish the OSP. Lord Edwasari reports.
In court on Tuesday, January 27, lawyers for the OSP, led by Dr. Isidore Tuffour, argued that the release being sought touched directly on the mandates of the OSP as provided under the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959. Moving the application for joinder, counsel for the applicant told the Supreme Court that the plaintiff's writ raised constitutional questions relating particularly to Sections 4 and 33 of Act 959. He clarified that although the suit appears to be against the state, it is not a challenge to the existence of the OSP as an institution, but rather to the constitutionality of some of its powers. Dr. Tuffour therefore intimated that the nature of the relief sought makes the OSP a necessary party whose presence would enable the courts to effectively determine the issues before it. However, the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Justice Remsai, opposed the application, insisting that the OSP has no interest in the suits that warrants its joinder. He stressed that the OSP was established by an Act of Parliament and that any challenge to its legal framework must be answered by the state through the Attorney General. The Deputy Attorney General further submitted that the Office of the Special Prosecutor does not have any proprietary or private interest in its own creation and therefore cannot be described as a necessary party to the action. Supporting this position, the applicant, Noah Adamsi, contended that the role of the OSP has been gravely misconstrued by the applicant. He maintained that the office does not stand to gain or lose anything personally from the outcome of the case and should not be drawn into a constitutional dispute concerning legislative action. After hearing submissions from all parties, the panel of the Supreme Court, presided over by Justice Bafo-Boni, ruled that the OSP is not a necessary party to the suit. The court consequently refused the application for joinder, allowing the substantive constitutional case to proceed without the Office of the Special Prosecutor as a party. Lodido Asare, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's do some health stories because the World Health Organization, WHO Africa Regional Director, Dr. Mohamed Yacoub Janabi, has urged stronger collaboration between Ghana and other African nations to ensure quality health care delivery. He warned that challenges will persist if Africa's 47 countries fail to coordinate efforts.
Meeting Ghana's Health Minister, Kwabena Minteh Akando, Dr. Janabi commended Ghana's bold Accra Reset initiative and pledged World Health Organization's full support, stressing that continental cooperation remains crucial.
I would really like to look on this reset in a bigger picture. Sovereignty is good, but 45 sovereignties without coordination, a little bit be more challenging than when we have a coordinating place. We know if we don't, nobody coordinates. One day we can wake up, we are all producing Corella vaccine. All the 47 members, they are going to produce Corella vaccine because we don't talk to each other.
According to Dr. Janabi, despite financial constraints, the World Health Organization eradicated Ebola in Congo within 6 months. Proof that coordinated actions works.
We have noted, and the entire world at the moment, the increasing constraint of global financial environment for multilateral institutions, including we as WHO, at a time when there's rising demands on country and regions. Despite all this financial shift you hear, what did Africa do last year? We had an outbreak of Ebola in August. We contented it in 60 days.
The health minister, Kwabena Minteh Akando, says Accra Reset will deliver concrete results amid global crisis as it is in the best interest of the people.
We believe that health reforms must be country-owned. We believe that we need partnership, but those partnerships must be with the mutual respect. We must take our countries into our nations, our countries, our continents, interests into our own hands. We must begin to do a lot of what we call local and resource mobilization and invest it where we need them most. If you're investing your own local resource mobilization, it doesn't come with strings attached, and you are able to get the full benefits of it.
Dr. Janabi said Ghana is on the right path and must not relent, praising the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, Mahama Care, as a step forward.
Telecel Ghana, in collaboration with the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, has launched a cervical cancer prevention campaign through Telecel Foundation, which seeks to create awareness about cervical cancer and its attendant issues. There's more in this report.
In Ghana, over 1,500 women lose their lives to cervical cancer yearly. This is usually due to late detection and diagnosis of the disease. This worrying statistic encouraged Telecel Ghana to launch a cervical cancer prevention and awareness campaign on January 27 at the Obstetrics and Gynecology Department of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. Prior to the launch, Telecel Ghana donated some high-end equipment to Korle Bu and Tamale Teaching Hospitals, as well as the Seshurioso Government Hospital, to screen about 10,000 Ghanaian women free of charge. Chief Executive Officer of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Yakubu Seidu, pledged the hospital's full support for the initiative.
Cervical cancer constitutes more than 60% of all female reproductive cancers seen at our Obstetrics and Gynecology Department. Victims of this debilitating condition, who are mostly poor and underprivileged, occupy our care spaces for prolonged periods. I wish to commend the organizers and our corporate partners, and to formally declare 2026 cervical cancer awareness and screening campaign duly launched.
Chief Executive Officer of Telecel Ghana, Patricia Obonai, said the campaign is a deliberate move to save women's lives.
This is not just a symbolic gesture. It is not charity for applause. It is a deliberate intervention that will save lives, and for that, we say thank you very much to the Telecel Foundation. This is what true partnership looks like: practical, intentional, and life-saving. Today is not just an event, a statement that the future of our mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives, and even friends is worth protecting now and not later.
Well, millions know him as I Show Speed, loud, unpredictable, and always live. But during his visit to Ghana, the street became something bigger, a cultural exchange that introduced the world to Ghana's people, places, and power. Judith Brown has more.
I'm ready for it. Hey, Ghana has such a beautiful scenery, bro. I'm gonna miss Africa, bro.
He's one of the biggest internet personalities on the planet, Darren Watkins Jr., better known as I Show Speed. With millions of followers across YouTube and social media, Speed isn't just a streamer. He's a global youth culture phenomenon. From high-energy live streams to viral moments that travel faster than headlines, his influence is massive. As part of his much-anticipated Africa tour, Speed set out to connect with a continent beyond the screen. And one of his most talked-about stops was Ghana.
She got my Speed 7 shirt. Thank you, miss, for getting my Speed 7 shirt.
From the moment he arrived, Ghana embraced I Show Speed with warmth, rhythm, and culture. The energy was unmistakable. Fans lined up, cameras rolling, and a nation proudly showing itself to the world through his lens. But beyond the hype, this visit quickly became about something deeper: culture, creativity, and opportunity. One of the most iconic moments of I Show Speed's Ghana visit happened at the Black Star Square, a place that represents Ghana's independence, pride, and identity. As Speed stepped into the historic grounds, the symbolism was powerful. A global digital star standing at the heart of Ghanaian freedom and history. Surrounded by cheering fans and cameras, Speed did what he's known for. He turned the moment viral, launching into a backflip in a spontaneous high-energy move that instantly lit up social media.
To backflip at the Ghana store.
Within minutes, clips of the flip were circulating across platforms, with millions of viewers seeing Ghana's most iconic landmark in the background, the Black Star. And crowning it all was a trip to Hammamat Shea Butter Museum, where tradition met global visibility. There, he received a mind-blowing massage that changed the pace of the stream.
I'm getting healed.
For millions watching worldwide, shea butter was no longer just something sold on shelves. It became culture, heritage, and luxury proudly rooted in Ghana. I Show Speed's whirlwind tour across Africa did more than just generate views. It reshaped perceptions. In just weeks, his live unscripted content placed countries like Ghana directly in front of the world's most influential youth audience. The unfiltered streams challenged old stereotypes, revealing vibrant cities, creativity, and confidence. And for Ghanaian youth, the message was clear. Our culture is not just local, it's global, relevant, and in demand. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Let's go!
Well, Martin was one of the people who was very excited when I Show Speed was in the country yesterday. To know, has he left?
Yes, he's currently in Namibia. That's the last country he's at the moment on his African tour. But he is likely to come back. And news just coming in. The Foreign Affairs Minister has just conferred a Ghanaian passport.
Berima Kofi Akufo. He now has a Ghanaian passport.
A Ghanaian passport as well. So it's likely he'll come around again in the near future. Still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. There is business, sports, and entertainment coming up.
Sabotage, a new artificial intelligence-powered customs system designed to strengthen revenue mobilization at Ghana's ports. Deputy Minister for Finance Thomas Ampim Nyarko announced that the platform, known as the Publican AI Trade Solution, is scheduled to go live on February 1, 2026.
Known as the Publican Trade Solution, it is designed to plug massive revenue leakages that have historically plagued Ghana's ports. Recent data from the 2026 budget revealed a staggering discrepancy. Between 2020 and 2025, over $127 billion was transmitted out of the country for imports. Yet, only $52 billion was declared for customs purposes. Addressing custom officers at the 2026 International Customs Day celebration, Deputy Minister for Finance Thomas Ampim Nyarko warned that government is keen in making sure the system is deployed without obstruction.
We want to encourage you to support this initiative and make sure it works. We are very determined to ensure that nobody stands in the way of the deployment of this important tool that will help us get the right revenue for the state. Our goal is to build a customs administration that is efficient, professional, and responsive to the needs of both the state and trading community.
Commissioner General of the GRA, Anthony Sapon, urged officers to view their roles as builders of the nation.
Revenue is key, revenue is prime, and as we say in GRA, revenue is the lifeblood of the nation. Without the revenue, our nation will not develop. And therefore what we do, and I keep on telling each and every one of us that every day what we do is actually national development, not revenue mobilization. The national development agenda is the key foundation that drives us to do the things that we do that brings the revenue.
The new system aims to bridge this gap by inspecting every shipment document against global trade data, reducing the opportunity for manual manipulation, evaluation, and classification, and cutting duty assessment times from 2 hours to just 5 minutes.
Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has moved to reassure investors about the safety of green bonds, despite lingering doubts from the domestic debt exchange program. SEC says green bonds will be safe even as memories of the debt exchange continue to weigh heavily on investor confidence. The program, introduced to restructure government debt, saw many Ghanaians lose significant portions of their savings, challenging the long-held belief that government-backed investments are risk-free. Years later, the domestic bond market is still struggling to recover. Against this backdrop, the SEC is working with the International Finance Corporation to introduce green bonds into Ghana's capital market. Globally, green bonds have grown into a $1 trillion market, with countries like Nigeria and South Africa already issuing them.
This one is basically for the real sector, the corporate, not for government. So we can assure you that any corporate body that will want to issue the bond, we will do our work to ensure that the investor's interest is protected, so that when that bond is issued, the bond will trade well on the Ghana Stock Exchange, the value of the bond will grow, the price will go up, so that tomorrow or in future, if you want to dispose of that bond, you make your capital gain. And
that'll be all for the business segment here on News 360. I am Michael Obodo. Bring you updates now from the currency and the commodities market.
Sports segment is brought to you by Sasso Insecticide Spray and Coil.
In sports this evening, barely 50 days to the start of the 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, 3 Sports Akosia AJ explores the Black Queen's base in the northern part of Morocco in the following report.
The landmark 2026 edition will bring together 16 nations, among them host Morocco, reigning champions Nigeria, and strong contenders Zambia, South Africa, Ghana, Tanzania, Malawi, Algeria, Burkina Faso, Kenya, Cape Verde, Senegal, Cameroon, Ivory Coast, Mali, and Egypt. The teams will compete across the Moulay El Hassam Stadium, Al Medina Stadium, Labi Zaouli Stadium, and Fez Stadium, all vying not only for the continental crown but also for 4 coveted qualification spots at the 10th FIFA Women's World Cup set to take place in Brazil in 2027. Coach Kim Lasbiorkegrin and his squad, just 90 days after clinching their 4th Women's African Cup of Nations bronze medal in Morocco, set out on another mission: qualification for a pivotal continental tournament. Following a commanding performance against Egypt's Cleopatras, the Queens secured their place in yet another major competition.
In March, the Black Queens of Ghana returns to Morocco, who are hosting the Women's African Cup of Nations for the 3rd consecutive time. This time, they do not go to Oujda or Berkane like they did in the 2024 edition. They will be hosted in Fez as they play against tournament debutants Cape Verde, Mali, and Cameroon at the 35,000 capacity seater stadium that is right behind me. The stadium was the home ground for the Super Eagles of Nigeria during the 2025 African Cup of Nations. The Black Queens will start off their journey here on the 18th of March, which is a Wednesday, against Cape Verde. They continue on 21st and then on the 24th. Coach Kim Lasbiorkegrin will be hoping that for the very first time in his coaching career, he makes it to a World Cup. The Black Queens will also be hoping that after missing out on several World Cups since 2007, they finally make themselves proud and make the nation also proud.
It's going to be a tough group for sure. I watched the Cameroon squad the other day, and I was a little bit surprised in one way. There were so many really good players in that squad. I knew a few about them before, but I also found out oh, she's from Cameroon. I didn't know. So it's an amazing squad. We played against Mali in the previous WAFCON, a draw, so we know that they are a good team. About Cape Verde, I need to figure out a little bit more, but the most common is that when it comes new teams into a tournament like this, they are normally pretty good. So no, I'm looking forward to play against them.
From the 17th of March to the 3rd of April, the journey to the World Cup 2027 will begin for the Black Queens, who have not been to the World Cup since 2007. One thing that the team will be hoping for is to make sure that this time around they make it to the Continental Showcase here in Fez, where they will begin their journey. For 3 Sports, I am Akosia AJ.
And that's it for Sports on News 360. Stay with us. We have entertainment right after this break.
Coil, powered by 3 Entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the entertainment news segment here on News 360. I'm Esiedua Afenyi. Now, in the world of entertainment, Ghanaian artist, creative entrepreneur, and Guinness World Record holder for the world's largest beaded bag, Juliana Gabing, says she is focused on training and empowering women and women's group with employable skills. She's confident the initiative will sustain livelihoods while positioning local craftsmanship as a viable source of income for women across the country. Here is Owusu Arai's report.
Juliana Gabing led a team of young bead workers to create what has been officially recognized by Guinness World Records as the world's largest beaded bag. The art piece was completed on 13th March 2025 at Ocean Green Beach in Pram Pram and was later confirmed on the Guinness World Records website. In January 2026, Guinness World Records presented Juliana Gabing with a certificate recognizing the achievement as the largest beaded sculpture ever created.
It is a significant moment of national pride for Ghana and a powerful affirmation of African craftsmanship. It places our indigenous artistry, skill, and cultural creativity on one of the world's most respected global platforms. The journey towards this record was rigorous and demanding. It required long hours, physical endurance, and unwavering discipline. Bead by bead and pattern by pattern, the sculpture came into life through teamwork.
In addition to Juliana's recognition, 9 other creative bead workers who contributed to the project were also honored, each receiving certificates of participation. Friends and supporters of the team expressed admiration for the impressive feat, describing it as a demonstration of creativity and teamwork. CEO of Jules Beads, Juliana Gabing, expressed gratitude to her skilled bead workers for believing in the vision and committing fully to the dream and creating the world's largest beaded sculpture. Asked what comes after the global recognition, Juliana explained that the team intends to train and empower women and women's group, equipping them with bead-making skills that can help them earn a sustainable living.
We are up to collaborations, especially from schools. We want people to actually learn. Yes, women, organizations, and so forth and so on. My team members and I, we are eager to train everyone. We made it.
Congratulations to Juliana and her entire team. That's it for entertainment. I am Esiedua Afenyi. Over to you, Grace.
Right, let's from the international front. The Rwandan government has launched legal action against the UK to seek payment it claims it is owed under a scrap migrant deal between the two countries. Rwanda has filed a case with the Netherlands-based Permanent Court of Arbitration, arguing the UK has failed to honor commitment made in a deal to send some asylum seekers to the African nation. Under the deal, which was signed by the previous Conservative government, the UK agreed to make payments to Rwanda to host asylum seekers and supports its economy.
That's it for our package this evening. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu Date.
I'm Grace Hamuajiman. Agenda comes your way at 9 p.m. Alfred also has Ghana Tonight at 10. Stay with us.